Welcome to Zoe Stories. Coach's Challenge. Now I'm her girlish trainee. I thought joining her training program would make me stronger, but I never imagined it would break me, reshape me, and claim every part of who I was. 18-year-old Ethan had always been shy, quiet, and painfully aware of his own awkwardness. While his peers confidently strutted through life, he preferred to stay in the background, invisible, unnoticed. Sports had always been a tentative escape, a place where his body could move without his voice drawing attention, but even there, he had struggled. So when Coach Marissa, a renowned and strikingly charismatic woman in her early 30s, opened a new personal training program, Ethan jumped at the opportunity. Her reputation for transforming timid trainees into confident athletes seemed like exactly what he needed. The first day, he arrived at her studio, a sleek, modern facility filled with mirrors, weights, and the soft hum of background music. Marissa was waiting, tall, poised, and commanding. Every movement she made radiated confidence and authority. She smiled at Ethan, but her eyes carried an intensity that made his stomach flutter. "Ethan," she said, her voice smooth yet firm, "I can see potential in you. But to reach it, you must be willing to go beyond your comfort zone." He nodded eagerly, unaware of what she truly meant. After a few standard exercises, Marissa paused, observing him closely. "You're timid, hesitant, too conscious of yourself. That's holding you back. I have a method to break you out of it." Ethan blinked, unsure. "What kind of method?" She leaned closer, her expression both playful and intimidating. "We're going to train your mind, your body, and your presence. You'll learn to move differently, speak differently, think differently. And for that, you'll need to step into a new form. A girlish form." Ethan froze. His pulse quickened. What does she mean, girlish? Marissa's lips curved into a teasing smile. "You'll start dressing like a girl during our sessions. It's part of the challenge. You'll lose your old habits, your old self. You'll learn grace, poise, and confidence that no boy ever could." His mind raced. Dress like a girl? But I'm a guy. I can't. Seeing his hesitation, Marissa's voice softened but remained firm. "I know it's uncomfortable. I know it feels wrong. But if you truly want to grow, to become something more, you'll do it. Or you'll stay the timid boy no one notices." Ethan swallowed hard, a mix of fear and curiosity tugging at him. The idea of transformation, of stepping completely out of his comfort zone, both terrified and intrigued him. "Do you trust me?" Marissa asked, her gaze intense, holding his in a way that made him feel exposed and vulnerable. He nodded slowly. I want to try." "Good," she said, her smile widening. "Then we begin." The first week was a whirlwind. Ethan found himself in leggings and a fitted tank top, guided by Marissa to move with fluidity, to hold his posture, to soften his voice, to mimic movements he had never attempted before. Each day was a mixture of embarrassment, awkwardness, and a strange thrill he couldn't quite identify. Marissa's methods were a precise mix of encouragement and control. "She can do this," she'd say, referring to his new girlish persona. "She is graceful, strong, prettier than she realizes." Ethan's heart would pound at each word. He hated that he wanted her approval, hated that her compliments made him feel exposed in ways he couldn't name. By the end of the week, mirrors had become both his torment and fascination. Watching his reflection, softer, more delicate, undeniably feminine in movement, made him question who he was. Is this me? Am I becoming her? On the final day of the first week, Marissa handed him a small note. "Tomorrow we go public. Your first session in full girlish attire outside these walls. Are you ready to be seen?" Ethan's hands shook as he read it. The safety of the studio would be gone. And as he looked into the mirror, his reflection smiling back at him with soft, girlish eyes, he realized one terrifying truth. There was no going back. "I thought the studio was the limit, that behind those walls I could hide, but the world outside had other plans." The morning sun filtered through Ethan's window as he stared at the outfit Marissa had laid out, a soft pink blouse, a pleated skirt that ended just above the knees, sheer stockings, and a pair of delicate ballet flats. His stomach twisted. "I'm actually going to wear this outside?" Marissa entered, her heels clicking against the floor, radiating authority and confidence. "She is ready," she said, a smile teasing the corners of her lips. "The world is waiting. And she, will learn how to command it." Ethan's hands trembled as he dressed, every piece of clothing feeling like a spotlight revealing him to the world. His reflection in the mirror showed a figure soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. He barely recognized himself. "Look at her," Marissa whispered, stepping behind him. "See the strength in her posture, the grace in her movements. She is beautiful, and the world will notice." Ethan swallowed hard, heart racing. "Beautiful? No, I'm a guy. Ethan." But the sound of Marissa's voice was hypnotic, blending command with subtle encouragement. "She can do this. She will survive. And she will thrive." The walk to the nearby mall felt like crossing a battlefield. Every step in the flats made his knees ache. Every sway of the skirt reminded him how exposed he was. The bustling crowd seemed to notice him, or rather, Alyssa, as Marissa insisted he call his feminine persona. Whispers followed, eyes lingered, and he felt a dangerous thrill alongside the shame. A teenage girl near a kiosk glanced at him and said softly, "She's so pretty." Ethan froze, heat rushing to his face. Marissa's hand pressed lightly on his back, grounding him. She notices. She controls. She owns the attention. A boy from the mall, a casual acquaintance from school, paused, staring. Recognition sparked a mixture of shock and disbelief. "Ethan? Is that you?" Ethan's chest tightened. Panic surged. I'm Alyssa now," he managed, voice high and delicate. The word felt alien yet intoxicating on his lips. Marissa's gaze was steady, unwavering. "Correct. She is Alyssa. And she will respond with grace. Fear is weakness. Poise is power." The remainder of the afternoon was a series of tests. Walking gracefully in heels while carrying small items, balancing on crowded pathways, responding to compliments from strangers, maintaining composure despite embarrassment, engaging in casual conversation with curious passersby, softening his voice, and adopting feminine gestures. Each challenge pushed Ethan to the edge. Shame, desire, embarrassment, and thrill collided within him. He hated the attention but craved it simultaneously. Every compliment Marissa prompted him to accept felt like a subtle betrayal of Ethan, but also a revelation of Alyssa. At one point, a stranger brushed against him in the crowded corridor. His knees buckled, and he nearly stumbled, but Marissa's steady hand on his shoulder anchored him. "She is strong," Marissa said, eyes gleaming. "She is learning. Every stumble is a lesson. Every glance is training." By the end of the day, Ethan's body ached, and his mind was a storm of emotions. Mirrors in shop windows reflected a girlish figure walking with grace and poise, Alyssa, but inside, Ethan struggled with shame, excitement, and a slowly growing curiosity about this new identity. Just as they prepared to leave, Marissa handed him a small card with a note written in flowing script. "Tomorrow, the challenge escalates. She will meet someone who will test her resolve and see if Alyssa is truly ready to claim her place in the world." Ethan's heart raced. Public exposure had already begun to blur the lines between him and Alyssa. But the looming test promised to push him further into feminine identity, or shatter him entirely. "I thought I knew the rules, that I could survive this until he appeared, and everything I thought I was came crashing down." The next morning, Marissa ushered Ethan, now fully stepping into his feminine persona, Alyssa, into the studio with a mischievous gleam in her eyes. Today, the challenge would push him far beyond practice mirrors and casual public attention. Today, he would meet someone who would test every fiber of his new identity. "You're ready for her next lesson," Marissa said, handing Alyssa soft, fitted dress and delicate heels. The dress hugged her curves, accentuating her girlish figure, while remaining tasteful. "She must be perfect. And she must resist temptation," maintain poise, and command attention without faltering. Alyssa's heart pounded. Temptation? What does that mean? The studio door opened, revealing Nathan, a charming young man with an easy smile and confident air. Marissa's words echoed. He is part of the test. Observe him, interact with him, but remember your place. She is Alyssa. She is in control. And she must not falter. Nathan's eyes flickered over Alyssa, noticing her delicate posture, soft curves, and the subtle glow in her cheeks. Wow, you're stunning, he said casually, though there was a hint of intrigue in his tone. Alyssa's breath hitched. The compliment felt like fire on her skin. Shame, embarrassment, and an intoxicating thrill surged within her simultaneously. She wanted to flee, yet a part of her wanted the attention. Marissa watched closely. She notices. She responds. Every emotion, every reaction is part of the test. Control her feelings, Alyssa. Obedience is power. Nathan moved closer, maintaining a friendly but flirtatious demeanor. You've changed. You look amazing. There's something different about you. Alyssa's knees trembled. Her old self, Ethan, would have blushed, stammered, or fled. Alyssa, under Marissa's guidance, straightened, lifted her chin, and forced her voice soft and melodic. Thank you. I'm trying to grow. Nathan smiled, leaning slightly, testing her composure. I've never seen anyone move like that. So graceful. So pretty. The words ignited a dangerous thrill. Alyssa's face burned, but inside, she felt a strange pride. Pretty, they're saying I'm pretty, maybe I like it. Marissa stepped close, whispering in her ear. Feel it. Embrace it. But remember, obedience. She must control every desire, every blush. She is Alyssa. She is not Ethan. The session turned into a series of temptation exercises, maintaining composure as Nathan offered compliments and playful touches on her shoulder. Performing simple routines, balancing, stretching, and walking gracefully, while under his scrutiny. Engaging in casual conversation, soft-spoken yet confident, resisting the urge to revert to old habits. Each moment was a delicate dance of power and control. Shame, embarrassment, and forbidden excitement intertwined, creating a heady storm inside Alyssa. She hated how much she wanted Nathan's attention, but she obeyed Marissa's commands, forcing herself to maintain the persona she had been trained to embody. By the end of the session, Alyssa felt a rush of conflicting emotions, pride in her poise, shame at her desires, and a growing realization that her old identity as Ethan was slipping further away. As Marissa handed her a towel, Nathan's voice cut through the air. Meet me tomorrow at the public showcase. Let's see how Alyssa handles the crowd and me. Alyssa froze. The world was about to watch, scrutinize, and test her feminine identity on a larger scale, and Nathan would be there, observing every reaction. She felt both terrified and inexplicably drawn to the challenge, knowing that the next stage of her transformation would be impossible to hide from and impossible to resist. The crowd was waiting, the cameras flashing, and for the first time, I realized they weren't just looking at Alyssa. They were judging me, every movement, every blush, every hesitant step. The morning air was crisp as Marissa led Alyssa into the grand hall where the citywide fitness and dance showcase was being held. Lights, cameras, and the buzz of hundreds of spectators filled the space. Heart hammering, Alyssa adjusted her pleated skirt and smoothed the blouse over her chest. You see her? Marissa whispered, tilting Alyssa's chin toward the mirrors lining the corridor. She is a girl. She moves like a girl. Every eye will be on her. And she will survive. She must. Alyssa's stomach nodded. The heels pinched her feet, and the skirt swayed uncomfortably with each step. Everyone's watching. Everyone will know I'm not. I'm not fully her. I'm exposed. Marissa's hand brushed her back, grounding her. Stop thinking about him, Marissa said sharply, her voice a mix of command and encouragement. She is here. Alyssa is now. She controls attention. She commands admiration. She survives scrutiny. The lights in the hall dimmed slightly, spotlighting the entrance platform. Alyssa's legs felt like lead as she stepped forward. Eyes turned instantly, whispers filling the air. "Look at her, she's beautiful," someone murmured. Every compliment, every stare, every camera flash hit her like a jolt of electricity. Her cheeks burned, her chest tightened, and yet a tiny thrill sparked inside. "They're noticing me. They're calling me pretty. Alyssa, maybe I like it." Nathan appeared in the crowd, leaning casually against a railing, his eyes locked on her. His smile was teasing, measuring, and Alyssa felt her pulse spike. He's watching, he knows. Will I falter? Will I enjoy it? Marissa's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. Eyes on her. Confidence. Grace. She can smile, she can sway, but never falter. Control everything. The first task was simple. Walk down the platform, pause at intervals, and pose gracefully. Sounds easy, but in heels, under cameras, with hundreds of people scrutinizing every detail, it was torture. Alyssa's legs shook, her hands fidgeted, and a small gasp escaped as someone whispered too closely. "She's perfect." Marissa's gentle command steadied her. "Breathe. She is strong. Every falter is just a lesson. Own it. She is commanding the stage." Alyssa nodded, forcing her trembling legs forward, heels clicking, skirts swaying, arms poised gracefully. Compliments, whispers, and camera flashes hit her from every angle. She hated how much it thrilled her. The next test: interact with Nathan under public scrutiny. He approached with effortless charm. "I have to say, you're even more impressive in front of everyone," he said. Heat flooded Alyssa's face. She faltered, but Marissa's firm hand on her back reminded her. Obedience, poise, confidence. She straightened, voice soft yet melodic. "Thank you. I'm learning." A round of applause from the crowd made her heart leap, and a dangerous thrill coursed through her. Shame mixed with excitement, embarrassment with pride, each emotion a knot twisting inside her. To intensify the challenge, Marissa whispered, she must receive the attention, enjoy it slightly, but never forget control. Every blush, every smile, is part of her power. The final part of the showcase, group exercise with other performers, where Alyssa had to move in sync, maintain grace, and handle playful teasing from both Nathan and audience members. A momentary stumble made her knees buckle, and whispers of amusement rippled through the crowd. Her face burned crimson, but she held her stance, smiled delicately, and completed the routine flawlessly. As she exited the stage, sweat dampening her brow and legs aching from heels, Alyssa realized something terrifying. She had enjoyed being admired, being called beautiful, being observed. The realization sent a shiver through her. Was this power or betrayal of Ethan? Backstage, Marissa handed her a folded note, voice low and commanding. Tomorrow, she faces her ultimate judgment. The entire city will see her, and Nathan will test her like never before. Does she truly belong to Alyssa, or will Ethan fight to return? Alyssa's hands shook. The public attention, the thrill, and the embarrassment had already begun to blur her identity. And now, the final test loomed, one that could erase Ethan forever, or force Alyssa to prove she was ready to survive in the world as her girlish self. Alone in the dressing room, the applause and camera flashes faded, but the weight of who I had become hit me like a tidal wave. Backstage, Alyssa slumped onto a velvet bench, heels pinching her feet, cheeks still flushed from the audience's attention. The adrenaline had faded, leaving a raw ache inside her chest, a mix of shame, fear, and the intoxicating thrill she hadn't anticipated. Marissa entered quietly, the clicking of her heels echoing softly. "She did well," she said, voice calm yet commanding. "But now, the real lesson begins." Alyssa's hands trembled as she pressed them against her face. I can't stop thinking about how they looked at me. I liked it. I shouldn't have." Marissa knelt before her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. She will feel all of it. The embarrassment, the excitement, the thrill. They are all part of the transformation. She is learning to control desire, not suppress it. That's strength. Alyssa buried her face in her hands. Tears threatened to spill, the conflict inside her overwhelming. I'm enjoying this, being admired, being called pretty. I'm Alyssa, but I'm also Ethan. Who am I? Marissa's voice softened, but each word carried authority. Look at me.
She is not Ethan right now.
She is Alyssa. Every tear, every blush, every falter, she owns it. She must embrace it, or it will destroy her. Alyssa lifted her gaze to the mirror. Her reflection stared back, delicate features framed by soft waves of hair, eyes wide and vulnerable, lips slightly parted, cheeks flushed. She barely recognized the person looking back. The heels made her legs ache. The skirt brushed her thighs lightly, reminding her of the public scrutiny she had faced. Marissa guided her to stand. Walk for me. Slowly. Gracefully. Every step must show control, even if she feels like collapsing inside. Alyssa's first few steps were hesitant. Her legs shook, and every movement felt like a test of endurance. Marissa's sharp gaze tracked her, correcting posture, adjusting shoulders, softening gestures. She must learn to move with confidence, even when she feels broken. Then Marissa whispered a command that made Alyssa's heart pound. Speak.
Tell me who she is.
Not Ethan. Not the timid boy. Alyssa. Say it and feel it. Alyssa's voice trembled, barely audible at first. I am Alyssa. Louder. Stronger. Own it. I am Alyssa. Her voice rang, higher and softer than she had ever spoken before. The sound echoed in the empty room, and a strange mixture of shame and exhilaration coursed through her. Marissa smiled faintly.
Good. She feels it.
The world outside may see her as pretty, as delicate, but she is powerful. Obedience, grace, confidence, they are her armor. Alyssa sank onto the bench again, exhausted. I don't know if I can do this in front of everyone tomorrow. I'm scared they'll see. Ethan. Marissa knelt again, placing a firm hand on Alyssa's back. Fear is natural, but she will transform it into presence, into command. Tomorrow, the world will see her, and she will choose who she is, Alyssa, fully. Or Ethan will fight for control. It's her final test. The room fell silent, heavy with tension. Alyssa felt tears prick her eyes, shame and excitement colliding. She hated how much she craved Marissa's approval, hated how much she wanted to survive this as Alyssa. Yet deep down, she also realized this was thrilling, intoxicating, and terrifying all at once. Marissa stood, towering over Alyssa with a commanding smile. Rest now. Tomorrow, she faces judgment, exposure, and desire all at once. And she will not be alone. Nathan will be there, testing every moment of her control. Alyssa's hands shook. The private breakdown had stripped away her defenses, leaving her raw, vulnerable, and acutely aware of the path she had chosen, or been forced to take. She stared at her reflection one last time before closing her eyes. Who am I, really? I walked onto the stage, heels clicking, skirt swaying, and for the first time, I realized that every eye in the room was not just watching Alyssa. They were measuring me, judging me, waiting for me to falter. The day of the public exhibition had arrived. Alyssa's heart thudded painfully against her chest as Marissa guided her through the backstage corridors of the bustling arena. The crowd's murmur was a low, vibrating hum that echoed in her bones. You're ready, Marissa whispered, adjusting the soft waves of Alyssa's hair. Remember, she is Alyssa. Every glance, every compliment, every stare, she owns it. She survives it. She thrives in it. The moment they stepped onto the stage, the lights blinding and the applause roaring, Alyssa froze. Hundreds of eyes were on her. The whispers, the snapping cameras, the curious gazes. It was a sensory storm, and she felt her knees weaken. Nathan appeared at the edge of the stage, leaning casually against the railing, a teasing smile playing on his lips. Looks like she made it this far, he said, voice carrying just enough to be heard above the crowd. But let's see if she can handle this. Alyssa's chest tightened. Every step she took in her heels felt like walking a tightrope. Every sway of her skirt reminded her of the audience. Every flutter of her eyelashes was measured. The shame, the excitement, and the thrill coalesced into a knot of raw emotion inside her. Marissa's voice cut through her panic. Eyes forward.
Smile. Grace.
Obedience. She controls the attention. Don't let it control her. The first part of the challenge was a choreographed routine with other performers. Alyssa moved with grace, following the steps she had practiced countless times, yet every accidental glance from Nathan made her heart skip. His teasing, playful gaze was testing her composure. He stepped closer, his hand brushing hers lightly during the routine. The contact sent a shock through her body. Her cheeks burned, and for a moment, Ethan, the old identity, struggled to resurface. But Marissa's sharp command reminded her. She is Alyssa. She must remain in control. Eyes on me, Marissa whispered, her hand pressing briefly against Alyssa's back. She falters for a second. She corrects herself. She falters again. She strengthens herself. This is the final test. Alyssa's legs shook with every movement. Her lungs burned from exertion. Yet a new sensation blossomed. A dangerous thrill at being observed, admired, and tested simultaneously. She hated it, yet loved it. She hated Nathan for teasing her, yet craved his attention. During a pause, Nathan stepped forward. You're doing well. Too well. But tell me, Alyssa, are you enjoying this? Alyssa's breath hitched. Shame and arousal intertwined, each heartbeat echoing in her chest. She wanted to deny it, to cling to Ethan's fading identity, but her voice betrayed her. I want to do well. Good, Nathan said, his smile sly. She is obedient. She is graceful. But can she maintain it in front of everyone? The next segment was the public interaction challenge. Alyssa had to answer questions from the audience, pose for photographers, and even handle playful teasing from Nathan, all while maintaining poise, composure, and her feminine identity. Each compliment pierced her like fire. She's beautiful, so delicate, perfect. Alyssa's cheeks burned crimson, knees trembling, but she managed a soft, melodic laugh, a delicate curtsy, and smooth, confident gestures. Each successful step bolstered her sense of being Alyssa, but inside, Ethan's old self whispered, panicked and humiliated. After the routine ended, Nathan leaned in and whispered, tomorrow, she faces the ultimate judgment. A decision awaits. Will she truly embrace Alyssa, or will Ethan claw back control? Alyssa froze. Sweat dampened her brow, heels pinched her feet, and the exhilaration from being admired clashed with the fear of losing herself entirely. She realized something terrifying. The line between Alyssa and Ethan was blurring faster than she could control. Tomorrow, every eye in the arena would be on her. And for the first time, Alyssa realized the real test wasn't just performing, it was choosing who she would become. Back in the private studio, Alyssa slumped onto a chaise lounge, heels kicked off, skirt still perfectly pressed despite hours of public scrutiny. Sweat and adrenaline clung to her skin, and her chest heaved with conflicting emotions. Marissa entered, her presence commanding yet oddly soothing. She has done well, she said, voice calm. But tomorrow, she faces the ultimate judgment. Not just from the crowd, not just from Nathan, but from herself. Alyssa's hands trembled as she hugged her knees. I don't know if I can do it. I'm scared. Everyone will see me. Ethan might come back. I can't. Marissa knelt before her, tilting Alyssa's chin upward. Fear is natural, but she must learn to use it. Every glance, every whisper, every heartbeat, she owns it. Obedience and poise are her armor. Desire and thrill are tools, not weaknesses. Alyssa stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her soft features, delicate curves, and the subtle blush still lingering from the public exposure reflected back at her. Who am I really? Ethan or Alyssa? The question hung like a weight in her chest. Marissa's hands smoothed Alyssa's hair. Tomorrow, she will walk among hundreds. Cameras will flash. Nathan will test her. She must move, speak, and breathe as Alyssa, fully. No hesitation. No falter. Every smile, every gesture, every blush controlled. Alyssa's pulse quickened. The thought of being fully exposed, fully observed, terrified her, but it also sparked a dangerous thrill deep inside. Shame, fear, and excitement intertwined, leaving her raw and vulnerable. Alyssa practiced speaking softly, melodically, with a feminine lilt, while Nathan observed and corrected minor hesitations. Every movement, from lifting a glass to walking in heels, was scrutinized, corrected, and perfected. Marissa tested her responses with playful teasing, simulated embarrassment, and verbal challenges to see if Alyssa could maintain composure. Each session left Alyssa exhausted, yet a subtle transformation deepened within her. The old identity of Ethan receded further, replaced by a complex mix of fear, thrill, and growing pride in being Alyssa. Marissa paused, voice lowering to a near whisper. Look at her. Tomorrow, every eye will be on her. Every glance, every whisper, every breath she takes, she will be tested. And she must answer one question before the day ends. Does she belong to Alyssa, or does Ethan fight to return? Alyssa's hands shook. Sweat dampened her palms, and a shiver ran down her spine. I don't know. I want to survive this, but who am I really? Marissa leaned closer, pressing a delicate note into Alyssa's hand. The handwriting was elegant and precise. Tomorrow, the crowd, the lights, Nathan, they are all mirrors. Look into them and decide. Will she embrace the power, the beauty, the thrill, or will she cling to what she once was? Alyssa's eyes widened. The note was simple, yet it carried the weight of finality. She realized the next day would not just be a performance, it would be the point of no return. As Alyssa lay in the dim light, heels and skirt neatly arranged beside her, a sudden thought made her heart pound. What if I enjoy this too much? What if I don't want to go back? The lights hit me like a storm. Every eye in the arena was on me. Every camera flashed a spotlight on who I had become and who I was losing. The arena buzzed with energy. Hundreds of spectators leaned forward in anticipation, whispers and camera clicks filling the air like a storm. Alyssa's heels clicked sharply on the polished floor as Marissa guided her to center stage. Her heart raced so violently it felt as though it would burst from her chest. Remember, Marissa whispered, brushing Alyssa's hair back. She is Alyssa. Fear is a tool. Desire is a tool. Every blush, every tremble, she controls it. Every glance, every compliment, she owns it. Alyssa swallowed hard, her lips dry, her legs trembling under the weight of the heels. Nathan appeared at the side of the stage, a playful smirk on his face, exuding effortless charm. His eyes locked on hers, sending a shiver through her body. He's watching, testing me, measuring every falter. The crowd fell silent as Alyssa stepped forward. Every movement was deliberate, precise, and calculated. She could feel the whispers brush against her skin. Beautiful, so delicate, perfect. Marissa's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. She is in control. She decides how to react. Every blush, every shiver, every heartbeat is hers to command. Alyssa's legs shook, but she forced a delicate sway in her hips, a subtle lift of her chin, and soft, confident steps. Nathan leaned closer during the routine, whispering teasingly, "She's mesmerizing, but is she truly in control?" The first challenge was a walking routine, interspersed with posing for photographers and interacting with audience members. Alyssa could feel every gaze piercing her, measuring her poise, evaluating her femininity. A wave of shame crashed over her, but it was laced with a heady thrill. They're admiring me, they're calling me pretty, and I like it. The second challenge was a verbal interaction segment. Nathan approached, lightly brushing her arm. "You've changed, even more stunning than I imagined. Do you enjoy being in the spotlight?" Alyssa's chest tightened. Shame, fear, and desire collided. Her voice trembled but stayed soft and melodic. I want to do well." The crowd responded with applause, cheers, and whispers of admiration. Heat flooded Alyssa's cheeks, her palms dampened, and her knees threatened to buckle. She hated how much the attention thrilled her, how much she craved it, yet she forced herself to maintain grace. Marissa's eyes were sharp, commanding yet subtly encouraging. She feels it, but she obeys it. Every blush, every tremor, every soft breath, she controls it. She is Alyssa. The final part of the showcase was the group choreography. Alyssa had to maintain grace, composure, and interaction with Nathan while performing synchronized steps. A playful stumble from Nathan during a close pose caused a ripple of laughter from the audience. Alyssa froze for a moment, mortified, but Marissa's whisper reminded her, "Control it, own it, survive it." Alyssa straightened, smiled delicately, and finished the routine flawlessly. The arena erupted into applause. Her chest swelled with pride, yet deep inside, Ethan's old self whispered in panic. "Who am I now? Alyssa or him?" Backstage, Marissa handed Alyssa a folded note. She opened it with trembling fingers. Written in elegant, precise handwriting were 3 words that made her blood run cold. "Tomorrow, choose wisely." Alyssa's pulse raced. The ultimate judgment was coming. The crowd, Nathan, Marissa, and the world were waiting to see if Alyssa would fully embrace her new identity, or if Ethan would claw his way back. The line between shame, thrill, and desire blurred dangerously. Alone in the quiet of her room, the applause and flashing lights faded, but the echo of every gaze, every compliment, every whisper lingered, threatening to drown her in confusion. Back in her private room, Alyssa sank onto the chaise lounge, heels removed, skirt slightly wrinkled, and body trembling. The adrenaline from the public showcase had faded, leaving her raw and vulnerable. She could still feel the weight of hundreds of eyes on her, the thrill and shame interwoven, gnawing at her identity. Marissa entered silently, her presence commanding yet strangely comforting. "She did well today," she said softly, voice firm but not unkind. "But now the real test begins. The part no one else sees." Alyssa's hands shook as she covered her face. I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like I'm disappearing." Marissa knelt beside her, gently tilting Alyssa's chin up. "She isn't disappearing. She is transforming. Fear, shame, thrill, desire, they are all part of the process. Ethan is fading, yes, but Alyssa, she is growing stronger. She must decide who she truly wants to be." Alyssa's gaze drifted to the mirror. Her reflection was delicate, soft, undeniably feminine, but beneath it, a trace of Ethan lingered. She traced the curve of her cheek with trembling fingers, lips slightly parted. "I am beautiful, but I'm also him. I can't." Marissa's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. "Look at her.
She is not Ethan right now.
She is Alyssa. Every blush, every shiver, every heartbeat belongs to her. Tomorrow, the world will see it, but first she must see it herself." Alyssa shook, tears spilling over. I'm scared. If I embrace Alyssa, will Ethan ever come back?" Marissa's hand pressed lightly on her shoulder. "Ethan is not gone, but Alyssa is stronger. She survives scrutiny, humiliation, admiration. She thrives in control, and she decides how much of Ethan remains. The choice is hers." The room was silent, heavy with tension. Alyssa's breath hitched, heart pounding. Shame, thrill, and desire collided inside her. She hated how much she wanted to remain Alyssa, how intoxicating it felt to be observed, admired, and praised. Marissa guided her to stand. "Walk for me. Slowly, gracefully. Every step shows control, even when she feels weak." Alyssa's legs shook as she stepped forward, swaying delicately in her heels. Her hands rested lightly at her sides, movements precise yet soft. Each step was a battle between Ethan's old hesitation and Alyssa's emerging confidence. Marissa observed sharply, correcting posture, tilting shoulders, softening gestures. She falters for a moment, correct. She trembles, control it. She is Alyssa. Alyssa's voice trembled when she spoke. I am. Alyssa. Louder. Stronger. Own it, Marissa commanded. I am Alyssa. Her words echoed in the quiet room, and a strange thrill coursed through her. Shame and pride intertwined. She had spoken it aloud, her new identity, and it felt dangerous, intoxicating. Marissa's eyes softened. Good. She feels it. Tomorrow the world will see it too. But first, she must confront her own reflection, fully. Look into the mirror. See herself. Embrace every part of her. Alyssa approached the mirror, trembling. She studied her reflection, soft hair, delicate curves, flushed cheeks, feminine eyes staring back. The heels lengthened her legs, the skirt swayed gently, and her hands rested lightly on her thighs. She hardly recognized herself. Am I really Alyssa, or just Ethan in disguise? The thought made her stomach churn. But then a thrill ran through her. They admired me today. Nathan, everyone, they saw me. And I liked it. Marissa's voice was gentle but firm. Tomorrow she chooses. Control, desire, power, beauty. Alyssa or Ethan. She decides who she becomes. Alyssa's hands shook as she touched the mirror, staring into her own eyes. Tomorrow, I will either become her fully or I will try to fight, but what if I don't want to go back? The arena fell silent. Every eye was on her. Every breath she took, every step she made, every flutter of her lashes would decide her future. The day had arrived. Alyssa's chest pounded with a mix of fear, excitement, and anticipation as she stood backstage. The lights from the arena shone through the curtains like piercing swords. Hundreds of people, including Nathan, Marissa, and her peers, were waiting. Every eye would judge her. Every whisper would pierce her. Marissa approached, placing a reassuring hand on Alyssa's shoulder. She is ready. Today, she proves who she is. Every glance, every word, every movement. Alyssa or Ethan, she chooses. Alyssa swallowed hard. Her heels clicked sharply as she stepped forward. The lights hit her, blinding and overwhelming, and the murmurs of the crowd became deafening. She could feel every gaze measuring her, every camera flash immortalizing her transformation. Nathan appeared beside her, his playful smirk softening just slightly. Let's see if she can own this, he whispered, lightly brushing her arm. The touch sent shivers down her spine. Shame, thrill, and desire intertwined, leaving her breathless. The first test was a series of poses and walking routines. Alyssa's body shook as she executed each movement with precision, her spine straight, her head high, her gestures delicate yet confident. Every time a compliment floated through the air, beautiful, perfect, graceful, her cheeks burned crimson. Yet, the thrill lingered beneath the shame, whispering a dangerous truth. I like being seen like this. The second test involved direct interaction with Nathan. He leaned close during a pose, his voice low and teasing. She's incredible, but does she feel it? Does she truly embrace it? Alyssa's lips parted, chest tightening. Her voice trembled. I want to do well. I am. Alyssa? Good. Marissa's voice cut through, guiding and commanding. She feels it. She controls it. She is Alyssa. The crowd erupted into applause, a wave of admiration, judgment, and attention crashing over her. Heat flushed her cheeks, and her palms became damp with sweat. Every flutter of her eyelashes, every delicate curtsy, every soft smile was under scrutiny, yet she thrived in it. Next was the emotional confrontation. Nathan stepped closer, holding her hands lightly. Tell me, do you want to return to who you were, or are you ready to fully embrace who you are now? Alyssa's throat tightened. The question pierced her heart. Shame, fear, and a forbidden thrill collided. I don't know. I think I want to be Alyssa. Marissa's sharp gaze reminded her. Control it, own it, survive it. Alyssa inhaled deeply, every eye on her, and whispered, trembling but firm. I am Alyssa. I choose to be her. A murmur ran through the crowd, a mixture of shock, admiration, and intrigue. The decision was final. Ethan's voice faded, replaced by Alyssa's emerging confidence. Marissa's lips curved into a faint smile. Good. She is chosen. Today, she becomes fully Alyssa. Every challenge, every gaze, every test, she owns it. Nathan stepped back, the playful smirk replaced by a look of respect. Alyssa's body relaxed slightly, the tension in her shoulders easing. The audience's applause washed over her, overwhelming yet intoxicating. Her reflection in a nearby mirrored panel caught her eye. Soft features, glowing skin, confident posture, feminine curves. Alyssa stared at herself, truly seeing who she had become. Backstage, as the crowd cheered and Nathan and Marissa watched proudly, Alyssa realized a terrifying truth. I've embraced Alyssa, but what if part of me still misses Ethan? The arena was empty now, the applause faded, but the echo of every stare, every whisper, every heartbeat lingered inside her, and Alyssa realized the hardest part was just beginning. Backstage, the crowd's roars had vanished, leaving only the faint hum of cleaning crews and distant chatter. Alyssa sank onto a velvet chaise, heels removed, legs trembling, and body slick with sweat and adrenaline. The glow of victory, admiration, and fear still coursed through her veins. Marissa entered quietly, her heels clicking softly. She did well, she said, voice calm but commanding. Better than I expected. But now she faces herself. Alyssa looked down at her hands, shaking slightly. I did it. But I don't feel like me. I feel someone else. And yet, I loved it too. Marissa knelt beside her, tilting her chin up gently. She is not lost. She is evolving. Every blush, every shiver, every thrill is hers. Ethan is fading, yes, but Alyssa is here, stronger, more resilient, more beautiful. Now she must reconcile both parts. Fear and desire. Shame and thrill. Alyssa's gaze drifted to a full-length mirror backstage. Her reflection was soft, feminine, glowing under the dim light. The smooth curve of her cheeks, the delicate shape of her lips, the subtle blush lingering from the stage. Everything screamed Alyssa, yet a faint shadow of Ethan lingered in her eyes. She touched her face lightly, almost afraid of what she might see. Am I really her? Or just am pretending? The thought twisted in her chest. Marissa's voice cut through, firm yet gentle. Look at her. She is Alyssa. Every flutter of her eyelashes, every sway of her hips, every soft smile, she controls it. And every lingering thought of Ethan, she decides how much she allows to remain. Alyssa trembled, overwhelmed by a surge of conflicting emotions. Shame, excitement, pride, and fear collided violently inside her. She hated how much she enjoyed being observed, being called beautiful, being admired, but the thrill was undeniable. Nathan appeared at the doorway, leaning casually against the frame. His teasing smirk softened into a look of genuine admiration. You're incredible, he said quietly. I've never seen anyone handle pressure like that and look this perfect. Alyssa. Alyssa's chest tightened. Shame and desire intertwined as she met his gaze. He sees me, not Ethan. Alyssa, do you feel ready? Nathan asked, stepping closer. To fully embrace this, or are you still holding on? Alyssa swallowed hard. Her heartbeat raced. I want to be her, but part of me misses him. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. I choose to be Alyssa. I want to be her fully. Marissa's eyes softened. Good. She has made her choice. Today, she survived scrutiny, admiration, and temptation. Tomorrow she will thrive. Nathan stepped closer, offering a gentle hand. You are amazing out there. Truly. And Alyssa, she's beautiful. Not just in appearance, but in courage. Alyssa's lips trembled. Tears threatened to spill. The mixture of shame, pride, and the strange thrill of being praised made her heart ache. I am Alyssa, and yet this feels dangerous, thrilling, terrifying. As Alyssa gazed into the mirror once more, she realized something terrifying. I've embraced Alyssa, but what if part of me still misses Ethan? What if one day I wake up and he's back, and I've lost her forever? Every step outside felt like walking on glass. Every glance, every whisper, every stare threatened to expose me or reveal who I truly was. The morning sun poured through the curtains as Alyssa slipped into a carefully chosen outfit. A soft, pastel dress clung delicately to her curves, heels adding height and elegance, and her hair styled to perfection. Marissa hovered nearby, correcting posture, tilting shoulders, smoothing stray strands. "Today is a test," Marissa said, voice both commanding and soft. "The world sees her now. Every stranger, every gaze, every whisper is a mirror. She must navigate it. Alyssa fully, without hesitation, without fear." Alyssa's hands trembled as she touched her cheeks, glancing at the mirror. "I am her, but I still feel him." Ethan lingering. The thought twisted inside her. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to smile, tilt her chin, and step forward. The streets were busy, pedestrians flowing like a river around her. Every step in her heels was a deliberate act of grace. Every flutter of eyelashes, every subtle sway of hips, every soft laugh she gave to a passerby was scrutinized by herself and the world. A stranger complimented her outfit. "You look amazing." Alyssa's cheeks burned, her pulse racing, yet a thrill surged through her. "They see me. Alyssa, they admire me." Marissa guided her subtly, whispering corrections. "Relax your shoulders. Soft smile. Slightly tilt your head. Own it." Every correction intensified Alyssa's awareness of her own body, of her new curves, of the way people reacted. Part of her wanted to run, escape the scrutiny, but another part, dangerous and exhilarating, wanted to revel in the attention. Nathan appeared unexpectedly at a nearby cafe, casually sipping coffee, eyes locking with hers. A slow, teasing smile spread across his face. "He's here seeing me like this." Alyssa's stomach twisted. Shame, thrill, and longing collided. Do I want to impress him or prove to myself that I can be Alyssa fully? Marissa's hand pressed lightly on her lower back, guiding her forward. Every glance, every whisper, every heartbeat. She controls it. Remember, Alyssa is strong. Alyssa is beautiful. Alyssa is in control. Alyssa's legs shook slightly, but she walked on, heels clicking against the pavement, head high, body swaying with elegance. Pedestrians turned to look, some whispering, some smiling. She felt exposed, vulnerable, but also powerful in a strange, intoxicating way. Embarrassment. Every compliment and stare made her blush, a mix of pride and fear. Thrill. The attention thrilled her in ways she hadn't imagined, awakening desires she had suppressed. Doubt. Ethan's presence lingered inside her mind, a voice whispering that this wasn't her, that she was losing herself. Control. Marissa's guidance kept her grounded, balancing fear and exhilaration. Alyssa approached a mirror in a boutique window. Her reflection stared back, flawless and delicate. She tilted her head, smiled softly, and felt a surge of pride mixed with fear. I am Alyssa, but part of me misses Ethan." As she turned to leave the boutique, a familiar voice behind her froze her in place. "Ethan? Is that really you?" Her heartbeat stopped. The public outing, meant to cement her identity, had just collided with her past, and with someone who knew the boy she once was. The voice stopped my heart. Familiar, sharp, and impossible to ignore. Everything I'd fought to embrace trembled in that instant. Ethan's past had found me. Alyssa froze, the boutique's glass reflecting both her delicate figure and the shock in her eyes. The words echoed through her mind. "Ethan? Is that really you?" A young man stood behind her, casual yet pointedly observant, eyes widening as they met hers. Recognition. Confusion. Curiosity. Every emotion in that single glance cut through Alyssa like a blade. Her pulse raced. No, not now, not here. I'm Alyssa. I've chosen. But the voice, the face, it dragged Ethan's memory screaming into the present. Marissa appeared at her side, a hand lightly pressing on Alyssa's lower back, her eyes sharp with protective authority. "She's Alyssa," she said firmly. "Control it. Own it. Don't falter." Alyssa's lips trembled. Words failed her. Her throat tightened, eyes flicking to the reflection of her feminine self. "I am her. I am Alyssa." The young man stepped closer, confusion giving way to intrigue. You look different. But there's something familiar. Are you really him?" Shame, fear, and a forbidden thrill collided inside Alyssa. Every fiber of her being screamed to deny it, to retreat, but another voice whispered, "They see you. You are beautiful, Alyssa." Marissa's voice cut through her panic. "Answer as Alyssa. Every pause is a weakness. Every tremor, she controls it." Alyssa drew a deep breath, her fingers brushing the skirt, adjusting it nervously but deliberately. I'm Alyssa," she said, voice soft yet firm, melodic and feminine. The young man blinked, startled. Recognition wavered, but curiosity replaced doubt. "Alyssa? You look amazing."
Truly.
"But you feel different. I don't understand." Shame and thrill mingled. The attention, the recognition, the undeniable feminine presence. It intoxicated her. Yet beneath it, a pang of fear lingered. "He knew me before. He could see through me." Marissa leaned closer, whispering, her voice velvet and steel. "She feels it. She owns it. She is Alyssa. Let him see what she has become. Fear is power. Confusion is control. She chooses who she is." Alyssa's chest tightened, pulse racing. She tilted her chin, straightened her spine, and offered a delicate smile. I've changed, and I'm proud of who I am now. Alyssa." The young man studied her for a long moment, admiration creeping in despite lingering confusion. You really are incredible. Alyssa." Wow." Alyssa's cheeks flushed, a mix of pride, shame, and thrill surging through her. Every glance, every word, every pause tested her control. She could feel Ethan fading further, replaced by a heady mix of fear, desire, and feminine strength. A shock. Unexpected recognition triggers deep internal conflict. Thrill. Praise and admiration from someone who knew her past. Shame. Fear of exposure, and the reminder of who she once was. Control. Marissa's guidance ensures Alyssa navigates the encounter successfully. As Alyssa prepared to leave the boutique, Marissa whispered, "Tomorrow, the final challenge awaits, and she will either solidify her identity or face the temptation to revert. Every choice she makes now counts." Alyssa's pulse quickened. She had survived public exposure, learned to control her presence, and faced her past, but the ultimate test loomed. Am I truly Alyssa? Or is Ethan still hiding, waiting to return? The lights were brighter than ever, the crowd louder than ever, and every heartbeat echoed like a drum. Today, the world would judge her, and so would she. Alyssa stood backstage, adjusting her dress and smoothing her hair for what Marissa called the ultimate test. Today's challenge was bigger than any stage, mall, or boutique. She would perform, interact, and navigate scrutiny under the spotlight of a fashion gala, with cameras capturing every movement. Marissa's hand rested lightly on her shoulder, firm and commanding. She has survived private reflection, public exposure, and confrontation with her past. Today, she proves to herself that Alyssa is complete. Control, grace, beauty, every step counts. Alyssa's heart raced. I've chosen to be her, I think, but what if part of me still wants Ethan back? Her pulse quickened at the thought, a mixture of fear and thrill building in her chest. The stage was massive, filled with an audience of hundreds. Lights blazed, music pulsed, and cameras flashed relentlessly. Alyssa's heels clicked on the polished floor as she walked toward the spotlight. Every step was precise, deliberate, feminine. Every sway of her hips, every flutter of her eyelashes, every subtle smile was scrutinized, but she was ready to own it. Nathan appeared in the front row, his eyes fixed on her. The teasing smirk was replaced with admiration and curiosity. He sees me. Alyssa, fully. The thought made her stomach twist with excitement and shame. Marissa whispered in her ear. Every whisper, every glance, every heartbeat. She controls it. Fear is power. Thrill is strength. Alyssa is in control. The first part of the test involved walking, posing, and expressing confidence under pressure. Each movement was a test of her feminine control, every glance and smile a silent challenge. Her pulse raced, adrenaline surged, and the intoxicating thrill of attention mingled with shame. The second part was interaction with the audience. Alyssa had to speak, laugh, and respond to questions as Alyssa, not Ethan. Every word tested her confidence. Every tone measured her control. A compliment reached her ears. "You are stunning, perfect." Her cheeks flushed crimson, a thrilling mixture of pride and vulnerability coursing through her. Shame. Every compliment reminded her of vulnerability, exposure, and her former self. Thrill. The audience's admiration made her pulse race, awakening desires she had suppressed. Doubt. Ethan's shadow lingered, whispering that this wasn't entirely her choice. Control. Marissa's guidance ensured she navigated the challenge successfully. The final challenge was the emotional test, face-to-face interaction with Nathan in front of the crowd. He stepped closer, hand brushing hers lightly. "Alyssa, do you feel fully yourself? Or are you still holding back?" Alyssa's heart pounded. The eyes of hundreds of strangers, the flashes of cameras, and Nathan's gaze bore into her. She could feel the old Ethan hesitating, but the new Alyssa surged forward. With a deep breath, voice trembling yet firm, she whispered, I am Alyssa. I choose to be her fully." The audience erupted in applause. Nathan's eyes softened, admiration and desire mingling in his gaze. Marissa's smile was faint but approving. Alyssa's reflection in the mirrored panels along the stage glimmered back at her, soft, feminine, confident, radiant. Backstage, as the crowd's roar faded, Alyssa felt a chill. A thought crept in, terrifying and thrilling. "I've embraced Alyssa, but what if one day Ethan wants back and I can't return?" In the quiet of the empty backstage, with lights dimmed and echoes of applause still lingering, she finally faced the question she had been running from. Who am I really? Alyssa sat on the edge of the chaise, heels removed, body trembling from the adrenaline of the final public test. Every flash, every cheer, every compliment lingered like fire across her skin. But now, alone with Marissa, there was no distraction, only reflection, only confrontation with her deepest fears and desires. Marissa knelt beside her, eyes piercing, voice calm but unwavering. She has survived scrutiny, exposure, temptation, and recognition from the past. She has walked, posed, smiled, laughed fully Alyssa. But now she must face herself. Every choice she makes from this moment defines her. Alyssa's hands trembled as she stared into the mirror. Her reflection was radiant, soft hair, glowing cheeks, delicate curves, feminine posture. She traced the curve of her cheekbone, lips slightly parted. "I am beautiful, Alyssa, but part of me, Mrs. Ethan." Marissa's hand pressed gently on hers. She feels it. She fears it. She desires it. And that is natural. But fear is a test, not a prison. Desire is power, not weakness. Alyssa is in control. She chooses who she becomes. Alyssa's chest tightened. Every memory of Ethan, every whisper of her former self, collided with the thrilling, intoxicating allure of being Alyssa. Shame and pride tangled inside her, leaving her breathless. Nathan appeared silently behind her, his gaze soft, admiring, yet questioning. "You've changed. You've grown, Alyssa. But are you truly ready to embrace her fully?" Alyssa's lips trembled. She swallowed hard, heart pounding. I am, Alyssa." The words tasted foreign yet thrilling on her tongue. Every heartbeat echoed in her chest like a drumbeat of destiny. I choose to be Alyssa," she whispered, voice trembling yet firm. I want to be her fully. Not half. Not pretending. I am Alyssa. Marissa's eyes softened, a rare warmth glimmering through her commanding demeanor.
Good.
She has chosen. Today, she becomes complete. Ethan fades. Alyssa rises. Nathan stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You're incredible. Beautiful, strong, and alive. Alyssa, you've claimed yourself. Tears welled in Alyssa's eyes, shame, thrill, relief, pride all mingling. She pressed her hand against her chest, feeling the fluttering heartbeat of her new identity. The transformation was no longer just physical, it was emotional, psychological, complete. Identity resolution. Alyssa confronts lingering doubts and finally accepts her feminine self. Thrill and desire. Validation from Nathan, and Marissa reinforces her confidence and feminine power. Shame and vulnerability. Reflections of her past self and lingering fear of Ethan's memory create tension. A control. Marissa's guidance and Alyssa's own choice solidify psychological dominance and transformation. Marissa guided her to the mirror one last time. Look at her. Own every curve, every glance, every breath. Alyssa is no longer a shadow. She is light. She is power. She is beautiful. Alyssa's reflection stared back, soft, confident, radiant. She smiled softly, lips trembling with emotion. I am Alyssa, she whispered. Nathan reached for her hand, and she took it, fully embracing the moment. The thrill, the shame, the pride, and the desire all fused into a singular, intoxicating feeling. She had made her choice. Alyssa had emerged fully from Ethan's shadow. As the lights dimmed and the room grew quiet, Alyssa felt a shiver. Deep down, she knew the past might whisper again, but for now, she was complete. She was Alyssa. The world had changed, and so had she. But even in the quiet moments, with every reflection and every glance, a whisper of the past lingered, reminding her that some choices, once made, could never be undone. Weeks had passed since the final test. Alyssa walked through the city's streets with grace and confidence, the click of her heels a familiar rhythm of power and identity. People glanced at her, some with admiration, some with subtle curiosity, but she no longer feared the attention. She thrived in it. Every step, every smile, every flutter of her lashes screamed, I am Alyssa. Marissa had gradually stepped back, her guidance replaced by quiet observation. She no longer needed to command. Alyssa had internalized the lessons, the control, the power. The shy, hesitant boy who had once been Ethan was gone, or at least buried beneath layers of confidence, femininity, and self-assertion. Nathan often accompanied her on outings, his presence both comforting and teasing. Their playful exchanges, gentle touches, and lingering glances reinforced Alyssa's identity in the most intoxicating ways. He called her beautiful, radiant, perfect, but it was more than looks. It was courage, resilience, and the intoxicating power of a woman who had claimed herself. Alyssa found herself standing before a boutique window, gazing at her reflection. She adjusted her hair, straightened her posture, and smiled softly. The girl in the mirror radiated confidence, softness, and allure. I am hers now. Fully. Completely. Yet, in the quiet corners of her mind, a faint whisper lingered. Ethan, would he recognize me? Would he want me back? Would I even want him back? Shivers ran down her spine, not from fear, but from the thrilling, dangerous possibility of the past colliding with her present. She was Alyssa, undeniably and intoxicatingly, but the memory of what she once was added depth to her existence. A shadow of longing intertwined with newfound power, creating a cocktail of emotion that both thrilled and terrified her. Marissa appeared quietly, leaning against the doorway. She has grown, she said, voice soft but commanding. She is no longer just a student of transformation. She is the embodiment of it. Alyssa controls herself, her world, her identity. And yet, the whispers of the past will always test her. That is life, and that is power. Alyssa nodded, a soft smile playing on her lips. I feel alive, she admitted. I am beautiful, I am strong. I am Alyssa. But part of me remembers Ethan. And maybe that's okay. Maybe remembering him reminds me how far I've come. Nathan stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Alyssa, you're incredible. And no matter what whispers from the past arise, you will face them as her. She looked up at him, eyes shimmering with emotion. Yes, I am Alyssa, and I will never go back. Later that evening, Alyssa attended a gala, fully in her feminine elegance. Cameras flashed, whispers of admiration floated, and she moved with poise, grace, and undeniable beauty. Every glance she received reinforced her identity. She was celebrated, desired, and admired, not for the boy she had been, but for the woman she had chosen to become. A familiar figure appeared at the edge of the crowd, a fleeting glance, a shadow of recognition, but Alyssa met the gaze confidently, smiling softly. I am hers. I am Alyssa. And I choose this life fully. Even in triumph, Alyssa knew. The past could resurface, and temptation could whisper. But she was ready. She had claimed her identity, her beauty, her power. And the world would never see Ethan again. Only Alyssa. The chapter closed on a cinematic image. Alyssa, radiant under the gala lights, shoulders back, chin high, heart racing with triumph, desire, and subtle uncertainty. A perfect blend of confidence and suspense, leaving the audience both satisfied and yearning for more.